Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am super excited for this video as I will be planning and setting up my 2020 bullet journal. So I got a brand new journal for a brand new year. I am using a Leuchtturm 1917 dotted notebook in the color black, and I am just taking out all of the stuff that it comes with, and this will be my third full year of bullet journaling, which is super exciting. So I'm going to start off by just opening up my notebook and writing my name in the front. And I also just recently got some new washi tape, so I decided to include that in this front page. So I'm using this tan colored one and this other gold one, which I use a lot through this whole setting up 2020 process. So here I am just flipping through the front few pages. I have the table of contents, which I never use, so I'm just gonna completely ignore it. And we're going to get started setting up the first 2020 cover page. So for this one, I wanted to do something a little bit different than my normal monthly cover pages, which I normally do some type of painting. So I decided to do more of a line drawing. So I began by drawing something out and I didn't like how it turned out, so I erased that and started over. Oh, funny story about this page. I really didn't realize that I didn't write 2020, I wrote 2002. So I really only realized this now when I am filming the voiceover after editing this video, drawing it, and flipping through my notebook a bunch of times. So yeah, it's the year 2002 in my notebook for this year, and I probably won't be changing that. So I hope you guys enjoy this very large mistake. But yeah, anyways, if you are wanting to recreate this, I'd recommend writing the year 2020. But here I am just using a fine liner to outline some floral designs and some other botanical type of doodles. I did this with a pencil first just so that I kind of got the layout right, and then I could get the overlap between the different plants, and then I just used a fine liner over top and just added some more extra little flowers and dots and stuff like that. And after that was completed, I decided to add some drop shadows to my numbers just because I thought it would help to make it pop a little bit more. So I just started by outlining with a fine liner, and then later on I went in with a thicker Tombow marker and just to add the drop shadow. And here is the completed cover page. Other than the wrong year, I am really happy with how this turned out. I think it'd be really nice to add some gold little specks in the doodles, but yeah, moving on to the next page, we're going to be doing the yearly overview. And here is yet another mistake that I made in the beginning of my 2020 bullet journal. I started by printing out these mini calendars because I thought it would make my life a whole lot easier, but then I remembered that the notebook pages in this notebook are not white, so it looked really dumb gluing that on top. But I started by just writing out all of the months in a Tombow marker, and later on I decided to cut out some black paper and make my calendars on the black scrapbooking paper with a white gel pen. As you can probably notice, I used 2 full spreads of 4 pages to make this. So I have 3 months on each page. This gives me lots of room to write in the dates on the side of there. And here I am gluing in the actual mini calendars. So it ended up being like twice as much work because I printed out the other calendars and then made these new ones. But I am really happy with how the black turned out. I think it looks really good and also just a lot less tacky than the printed out calendars, but the printed out calendars is also a great option if you want something that will save you a little bit of time. So here I am just gluing those in, and I also did this for the other 6 months, but I'm not sure if I showed that or not. And I added some bullet points with a fine liner, and later on I also added some washi tape in between the months just to separate it. I used this gold skinny washi tape, which is from Hobby Lobby, I believe, and I used that quite a bit throughout all of my 2020 planning and bullet journal setup. So here is what the final spread looks like. Moving on to a new page, I'm going to be doing my favorites page on both the left and right side. So I started with this washi tape, which is the same set as the other one, and I used a Tombow marker to write out monthly faves at the top of the page. So on the left spread, I decided to do sections for each month to kind of organize all of the favorites that I write down in each of the monthly spreads, so I just have a place to organize them and just put my top favorite things from each month. So I use a Tombow marker for the base, and then I use my Jelly Roll gel pen just to write the months out on top. So I did that for all 12 of them. And at the bottom of the page I have some washi tape, and I also added a sticker on. And for the other side, I wanted to do kind of another step further back from the monthly faves and do a yearly favorite spread. So this one is pretty simple. I just used some washi tape, the same as the other side, and then I wrote top favorites with a Tombow marker. And I just also added some doodles around the words and some bullet points, and that was it. I always enjoy collecting all of my favorite memories in one spot in my bullet journal, so I can easily go back and look at them and then add them throughout the year. My next spread on the next page is my 2020 goals. Here I actually got the date right, so way to go for me. So I used a black Tombow marker to write out 2020, and then with the thinner one I just wrote out goals in some pretty simple cursive. Underneath that I used some black scrapbooking paper and cut those into little rectangles, and later on I added different headings to each of them. I also used some gold washi tape underneath the header, and I just sectioned out my goals into 4 different categories and glued those in. And on the page beside it I used another black Tombow marker and started by drawing a box, and then I went ahead and added some triangles at the bottom to make this into like a banner type shape. And I just extended some lines up to the side and then made the banner ribbon edge parts kind of like that, and repeated that on the other side. It's kind of lopsided, but I mean, that's okay. Gets the job done. And I also went ahead and added some stripes in that little triangle part and made the banner lines a little bit thicker with a black marker. And after that I used a Tombow marker to write out looking forward in some calligraphy in the box. And this is just a part where I can kind of reflect on 2019 and see some things that I want to change for 2020, and just like a little journal prompt type of page. So moving on to the next spread, this is my books read page. So one of my goals for 2020 is to read more books, and last year I only read 2, so we're going to see if we can beat that this year. So I have an entire spread for it, so hopefully that will happen. I used some washi tape, and also I wrote red on a black piece of paper with a white gel pen. And then on the other side I have a spot to write down movies and TV shows, because often I watch movies and TV shows and I want to remember them if they're good or something like that. And it's also just cool to look back for, like, in years in the future to see which shows I was watching now and what movies I enjoyed. So I added some washi tape and that page is complete. So the next one is my income tracker. So I like to do this every year just so I can see where my multiple streams of income are coming from. So I used some black paper and wrote on it with a white gel pen and then just glued that into the notebook, and I added some gold washi tape on both sides. So pretty much how this page is laid out is I started by splitting each page of the spread into 6 different sections, and then they have a spot for the name and then also the amount, which is the little column, and then I just added the months and doubled up the top line so it was a little bit more easier to see. The next spread is my yearly expense tracker. So every month I track the expenses, but this is a place where I can kind of combine them all together and then compare from month to month. So I have different categories, which will just be the total. The separate parts will be in the monthly spreads. So I have 4 different categories and I just wrote them all out for every month. And on the other side, I decided to make a little graph thing for my expenses and also my income. And the next page I made another banner thing, but this one is made with a black piece of scrapbooking paper and like the white gel pen, the same type of deal. I use some washi tape in the middle, and then this is just my YouTube page where I can keep track of videos that I made and also video ideas. And then on the other page, this is my last spread. It's called Stuff Bought, so pretty much it's just tracking all of the actual stuff that I bought, not including like food and stuff, but like actual stuff, just because I think it's interesting to look back and see the things that you have accumulated over the past year. So that concludes my 2020 bullet journal setup. There's a lot of spreads here, and I hope you guys have found some ideas that you can use in your own bullet journal, and pretty soon I will have my January plan with me up. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!